Entry-level mining information. Welcome to Australian Mining for New Starters, and as usual we'll do the prices, have a look at the news, and then have a chat about where best a new starter can get into the industry. So let's have a look at the copper price first, and so that's running at $12,430 Australian, which is back up there again. Nickel's also pretty high at $24,528. And as you can see, gold is down at $2,344. Just moving on to the story with one of the big gold mines in the Northern Territory. This is the worst nightmare of most of the mining companies actually having COVID on site, and it's meant that they're going to have to isolate. All the article says that they've isolated the 700 people on site, and they've also had to isolate everybody that flew out, so that's probably another 350 people. Now, what this has done is, in effect, shut down the mine for 2 weeks, and I just did some quick back-of-the-envelope calculations on how much ounces they're trying to produce and all that sort of stuff, and it looks like it's probably going to cost them between $3 and $4 million a day. So it's going to be quite a substantial hit when it's all said and done. So I think the takeaway from that is that the miners and the employers are really going to tighten up on where their workforces are and how often they test them and when they get them in and out, and try and discourage them from travelling around the country at the moment. It's just going to mean that it's a lot more stricter. I'm going to talk more at the end of the video about how you can turn the situation to your advantage, but next we'll move on to the iron ore price, which is still very high at $214 US, which makes it $282 Australian. Now, they're not ramping anything up really. There's a few new mines slated to open from some junior mining companies, but the big mining companies, they're just keeping on doing what they're doing, trying to replace their truck drivers with driverless, and as they do that, they're reducing their wages costs. And that seems to be their biggest thing at the moment, is trying to reduce their wages costs. So moving on to coal, which is still holding up there at well over $100 US, which makes it $142 Australian, which is why you'll see a number of job ads on Seek asking for experienced coal miners to come back as they open up some of the mines, or reopen some of the mines, or lift production for some of those coal mines on the east coast. Now, so how can you turn this to your advantage with the lockdown? I've just waited for the media conference this morning, and it looks like McGowan's going to lock everything off again. And so basically everywhere you come into WA from at the moment, you're going to have to self-isolate for 14 days. So my suggestion is not to do that. Wait till it opens back up again, but be ready to come. As soon as it opens back up again, you'll be able to make your way across. And this is the map. They've changed the map that I normally use into this. So I found another map which is a little bit better, and you can Google this. It's just Australian Operating Mine Maps from 2019, and this is the Kalgoorlie area. You'll be able to see all the mines that are around there. So my suggestion to you is, if you're in lockdown in New South Wales, or you're in Queensland or Victoria and you can't get across, make sure that you prepare yourself so you can use the sponsors Intro to Underground Mining, the DIY packages, all those, the online training there, to get yourself ready, so when you do make the jump across, after everything opens back up again, you should be first in line for a job. That's one of the ways that you can take advantage of this situation, because like I said, with the lockdown and the Northern Territory mine, as well as what's going on with the Sydney cluster, the WA government's locked the border down pretty much completely, and so everybody's got to do 14 days quarantine. So as soon as they lift the borders back up again, that's when I'd be heading straight for Kalgoorlie, because they're starved for workers at the moment. They really need people, and if you can show up there, knowing how all the Hard Rock Underground mine works using the sponsors training packages, you can see that a lot of people just go straight into jobs. So all these people here have come to Kalgoorlie, use the training to get a job. Now, if you'd like to ask a few more questions about it, you can use the inquiry form on the sponsors page just to fill in your details. You'll be able to ask the questions that you want answered. I hope you found that information helpful, and just remember that everything's going to sort of stop now, and my suggestion would be that to concentrate on the jobs in the state that you're in, if you've still got movement within that state. But if you're in lockdown somewhere, I'd take the opportunity to invest in yourself. You can use the time to study this, and like I said, it doesn't take too long. It takes about 50 hours to get through. I recommend that people do it 3 or 4 times so they really understand the information, so they can answer it in the interview. And then once you do that, you turn your resume around yourself in the Australian Mining Seminar and start sending it out and chase down those jobs, because yeah, the employers are starved for people, and if you can be ready and show them that you're ready by the time it all lifts, then that will be a big advantage to you. And I've seen this happen a couple of times now over the last 18 months. If you could like and subscribe to the channel and share this information around, that would be wonderful. Thanks.